All right, guys. So today I blew 3 combines. I'm up on one, and as you can see here, we blew, blue, 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 and I'm gonna just show you guys the entries. I'm gonna show you guys what happened, and yeah, basically the bias was correct. Today I was going into today going bearish, or bearish because of the original, SMT, bearish SMT at the highs. I saw it. I was like, all right, we look really bearish. I don't think we're going to continue higher. But once we started moving up higher and we started continuing to go higher, I was like, all right, this doesn't look bad. Maybe we can reach that high and then start to move down lower. So I took buys, and that's where I got cooked. This one has a one trade limit, but I did move my stop loss. We're buying again. This is another thing too. Like, don't be buying at the highs. Don't buy at the highs. That's one thing I've learned recently about me is, as of recently, I've been getting a lot more FOMO. In terms of like trying to get payouts, in terms of trying to pass accounts, in terms of not following my system. I don't know, I'm at a weird point where like I was doing so well for so long to the point where like now I'm just like not doing that. I'm not, following my rules. I'm not, trying to wait for this confluence and then wait for this confluence. I'm over here, like, I wouldn't say gambling, but it is in terms of gambling, because again, we don't have an edge here. I don't have an edge trading like this, and I continue to trade like that, and it's based off of emotion. It's based off of attachment to the results, to the P&L, to the expectation. Like the past 2 days, like today, yesterday, Monday, I've taken a trade every single day, and that is not me. And during certain days like that, or certain days, like those other days, I realized my system was not presented. It was not presented at all, and I was still forcing setups. And it just, it makes me upset because, again, those losses, I lost 2-2 already, this week. It makes me mad because, again, I know, especially on the fundeds, like I know I shouldn't have been taking those setups, and I should be more picky with my setups, and I'm continuing to not do that. Every time I go into the market, I'm over here expecting something to catch a trade, to get another payout, to reward myself. But in reality, it's not like that, bro. But in terms of like this trade right here, you look for what? A reversal. You look for this right here. You don't look for to catch buys. Like, it doesn't make sense trying to buy all the way up here. Like, unless you're a continuation trader, that's a different story. But I know continuation traders have their own type of edge here. Like, whenever they see, a rebalance, they enter maybe, and then eventually let it run, stops break even already. But if you're, trying to buy longs, you're buying at what? The discount of the range. Like, you're buying over here at the discount. There's no point in trying to, like, it's complicated because, again, like, why are you trying to buy longs in a premium? Like, buy them in a discount. Why are you trying to short, in a discount when you should be shorting in a premium? Like, it doesn't make sense. But let's go over this trade real quick. So my first trade that I took, which was a loss, I didn't mean to do that. And show you chart executions. This is, again, proof. On this account, we only had one trade. On this one, we had 2 trades. So that's why I have 2 trades there and then 1 on that one. But here was the trade. On the 1 minute time frame, we saw a strong distribution, swept the low, pushed up higher. I thought this candle was close to eventually meeting the buy side objective, which was this high. And then eventually we're going to start to reverse. But of course, we had SMT at the highs. I noticed that too late. I was cooked. Boom, I was cooked. I don't recall if we have an internal SMT, but I can go check real quick. We don't have an internal SMT. So we don't have an internal SMT, but we did form an inversion fair value gap to then eventually move down lower. Why did we took the second trade, which was the inversion, and why did we fail? My stop loss was around 30 points. I didn't originally want to have it there, but the market eventually stopped me out because I hit my maximum loss limit, risking around 10 micros. So this is like both a contribution of like 500 each. Boom, we lost. We're down 1,000 now. Unfortunate. But the original stop loss would have been around 50 points, and I would have not been stopped out. Even though I just don't like the setup and how it delivered. We took it again. Once we broke below these lows and then continued down lower. And you're probably wondering, like, why did this second trade not work out? I'm still questioning too, like, why didn't it work out? We had an inversion. We didn't have a sweep though. ES did have a sweep, and ES did form a better inversion delivery. If we go look at ES, once we had that inversion, and once we swept these highs, the market, just clearly formed a better delivery. We boom, pushed up. 10 points is originally what the stop loss would have been. And then eventually you can see the just strong delivery lower. And the market would have gave us those 30 points. 1 to 3, bro. While NQ over here stalling around. Should the trade have been taken on ES? Yes. Was I locked in? I was just like, I don't know, like if you get into that state where like you're emotional aware, like not emotionally aware, but like you're hyper focused, like you're so locked in, like you want to make your money back. That's that point I was in. I was gambling. I'll be truly honest. I was gambling. I was emotional. I was like not stoic. I wasn't aware of what I was doing. I wasn't in control of my emotions. The market was controlling me. And, you have to completely understand that those moments will happen, and you have to own up to them. And this is on combines. And the reason why I hate losing on combines and like hate losing money on combines is because they cost money, bro. They're expensive. Combines are expensive. They're not cheap, Of course, we can make the money back more in 10 times. And I've already made money from trading. So I'm reinvesting what I've made back into, making more profit potentially. But it's still, like it hurts to invest and then lose, and then you have to buy more and invest more. I just, it really does make me upset. And one of the reasons why I'm risking so much, again, is because, again, I want to make this, the results like that. I want to make it quick. I want to make it quick. But at the same time, I'm telling myself, like, bro, if you're risking like 1,000 to like 1,500 and you're trying to pass it like in a week, how much more likely are you to rush the process? And like, you're setting expectations, you're trying to rush the process, you're trying to, get funded as soon as possible, you're not taking the highest quality setups, and it just doesn't, look right, doesn't feel right, because again, you're depending on like 1 to 2 trades, which potentially could, put you in half drawdown, if not blow the account, which most likely will happen because you're tilting. You're going to tilt, like you put so much emphasis, so much trust behind this one trade, and if you lose it, you're going to most likely blow the account, if we're being truly honest. But the second trade I took was another short. Again, I was bearish. This one is halfway past, so if I can pass it, I'm willing to take that, and then eventually add it to my funded collection. Again, I want to reset. I want to get rid of the funded accounts that I have and then reset, and then eventually copy trade with a set of 5 and just build back from scratch. Like I think that's the best option. But here it was my final trade. I took a short. This one this one does look a little bit more complicated because again, it has multiple trades, but I pyramided in. So here was the thing. So I bought and then I sold. So I was down more, and then I was like, all right, I can't be doing this. And then I sold. Of course, more of like a gambler's mentality. You buy, sell, and this isn't ethical, and it isn't long-term sustainable. And that's kind of why I just don't want to be risking so much while I'm on combines, and I want to copy trade while I'm funded. All my fundeds on combines, because again, it just brings back more reassurance. You got a whole month to pass, like take it slow, and if you get a payout while you're trading combines and you pass those, it just pays for the combines, But I know a lot of people don't like hearing that. A lot of people don't think it's ethical, but for me it is. For me it is. So I might just do that. I think that's my way of doing it. Plus this one's already halfway past, so just it's 3R trades. 3R, I'm past. Got another funded. Added to the collection. Cool. And I just bought this one. I think I bought it like yesterday or today. But we took a short. All right, we took a short around 84.00. So we took a short right here, and then I took another short around 69.75. 69.75, right there. And then eventually, boom. Those were my 2 entries. And then the market started to dump. Boom, started to dump. Stop loss to break even already once we were breaking past this 5-minute fair value gap. So we were like break even around here. And then we started to move down lower. And we met my target. 1,500, 1,600 around there. And that was pretty much really it. Like it was a good trade. I won't lie. It was a good trade. But could have been better. There was clearly better opportunities. And if we were just patient, we could have made so much more, bro. And it just makes me mad because again, I would have been up on multiple accounts if I just took that one trade. But now I'm over here, like second guessing myself. I'm over here thinking like, is it really worth passing combines? Like we're blowing combines and we're trying to pass them at the same time. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't want to be blowing money. You know, like I'm not made of money. I can't just be blowing accounts left and right. So that's kind of why I want to take it slow. You know, build my capital slowly, and yeah, just trade on my fundeds while trading on combines. So those are gone. I'm going to have to buy more, and eventually, have to buy more eventually, and then just try to pass those in a month. So that's really it. Peace.